Have you ever felt like there's a secret language, one that whispers through ancient temples, echoes in the spirals of galaxies, and hides in plain sight within the petals of a flower? That language is sacred geometry. It's not just art. It's not just design. It's the invisible code behind the structure of everything. What if I told you the very shape of the universe, the patterns in your DNA, the rhythms of your thoughts are all tied to a mysterious ancient knowledge hidden in plain sight? Today, we're going deep into the sacred patterns that hold the key to our perception, our potential, and maybe even reality itself. This is not just a lesson, it's an awakening. Let's begin. Sacred geometry is the study of geometric patterns that are repeated in nature, in the cosmos, and even in the human body. But it's not just about shapes. It's about meaning. It's about the hidden intelligence within form. It's about the language the universe uses to create. Let's go back, long before calculators, before science as we know it. Ancient cultures, from the Egyptians to the Greeks, from India to the Mayans, knew there was something divine in the structure of things. The flower of life, the golden ratio, the Fibonacci spiral, the Metatron's cube. These weren't just designs to them, they were sacred. They were understood as blueprints of existence itself. Even the great philosopher Plato believed that behind the chaos of the material world, there existed a realm of perfect forms. And what form is more perfect than geometry? Sacred geometry bridges the spiritual and the scientific. It reveals how math and mysticism are not enemies, but soulmates.
Imagine drawing a circle, then another with the same radius, intersecting it perfectly at the center. Now do that again and again, expanding outward. Eventually, you'll form a stunning pattern, the flower of life. This ancient symbol has been found all over the world, from Egypt's Temple of Osiris to China to India, even etched into stone at sacred sites with no clear historical connection. Why is this pattern so universal? Because it represents life itself. Inside this simple arrangement are hidden the building blocks of creation. From it, you can derive the seed of life, the egg of life, and even the tree of life. It maps out the platonic solids, the basic 3D shapes that all matter is made from. But more than that, many believe it's a map of consciousness itself. Each overlapping circle represents connection, unity, oneness. It's as if the universe is trying to say, we are all part of the same pattern. This is not just spiritual poetry. Modern quantum physics is now beginning to echo similar truths of entanglement, of interconnection, of a fabric of reality that is non-local. Could it be that ancient geometry holds truths we're only now rediscovering?
There's a number that shows up everywhere, in the petals of flowers, in the spiral of seashells, in the proportions of your face, even in the structure of galaxies. That number is 1.618, also known as phi, or the golden ratio. To the Greeks, it was the mark of divine beauty. To Leonardo da Vinci, it was the key to perfect art and anatomy. To mystics, it was evidence of God's fingerprint in creation. The golden ratio is found in the Fibonacci sequence 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13, 21. Each number is the sum of the two before it, and the ratio between them, it gets closer and closer to 1.618. This isn't just math, it's life itself unfolding. When you look at a sunflower, a pine cone, or a hurricane, when you observe the unfurling of a fern, or the spiral of your DNA, you're witnessing the golden ratio at work. But here's the big question. Why? Why does nature follow this pattern? Is it simply efficiency? Or is there an underlying intelligence? A blueprint we're only just beginning to understand. Some believe the golden ratio is the mathematical expression of harmony, that it's how the universe organizes chaos into beauty.
Sacred geometry isn't just out there in the universe, it's in you. Your brain responds emotionally to symmetry. Your mind seeks balance, proportion, flow. Why are mandalas so calming? Why are spirals mesmerizing? Why does a perfect circle feel divine? Because your subconscious mind recognizes these patterns. Even if you can't explain them, you feel them. Psychologists have found that we're hardwired to be drawn to symmetry. In fact, facial symmetry is one of the universal markers of beauty across all cultures. But it goes deeper. Some neuroscientists believe that consciousness itself, how we form thoughts, how we process reality, follows geometric patterns. Think of it like this. Your thoughts are not random. They follow a geometry, a rhythm, a sacred structure. Even brainwave frequencies, alpha, beta, theta, can be seen as waves, as forms, as geometry in motion. Could it be that unlocking the geometry of thought is the key to mastering the mind? Could it be that sacred patterns hold the key to mental clarity, spiritual awakening, and emotional balance? Here's where things get even more fascinating. Ancient civilizations used geometry to build structures that have lasted thousands of years, without cranes, without modern tools, but with perfect precision. The pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, Machu Picchu. How did they do it? Many of these sites are aligned with celestial bodies, the sun, the moon, the stars. They used sacred ratios and geometric codes. Were they simply brilliant engineers? Or were they tapping into something else, something higher? Now let's fast forward. Today, physicists are exploring something called string theory, the idea that all matter is made of tiny vibrating strings, and these vibrations form shapes, patterns, geometry. Even black holes, gravity, and light can be described using geometric models. We are finding that science and spirituality are not opposites. They are two sides of the same sacred coin. If everything is vibration, then everything is geometry in motion. Let that sink in. When sound passes through a medium, like sand on a plate or water, it creates stunning patterns. This is known as cymatics. Simple tones produce complex, symmetrical shapes. The higher the frequency, the more intricate the geometry. Now think about that for a second. Sound becomes shape. Vibration becomes structure. Frequency becomes form. So when ancient cultures chanted Om, or built cathedrals designed to echo sacred harmonics, they weren't just being mystical, they were literally shaping energy into order. And modern science is catching up. Quantum physicists now tell us the universe may be a hologram, a projection of vibrations. And those vibrations, they obey geometric law. So your thoughts, your emotions, your very voice, all carry frequency. And frequency, as we now know, creates form, which means you are a geometric architect. Every word you speak, every intention you hold, sends out a ripple, a pattern into the world around you. You are not just in the universe, you are shaping it. Now let's dive into one of the most mysterious and powerful symbols in sacred geometry, Metatron's cube. This is not just a pretty design, it's a map, a blueprint. It contains all 5 platonic solids, the fundamental 3D forms that make up all physical matter. These shapes are perfectly symmetrical. They're the foundation of crystals, DNA, molecules, and even the structure of space itself. In mysticism, Metatron is considered the scribe of God, a being who records all things, and his cube? It's said to be the geometry of divine thought. When you look at Metatron's cube, you're not just seeing a diagram, you're staring into the very mind of the cosmos. What makes it even more powerful? Inside Metatron's cube lies the Merkaba, an ancient symbol of light, spirit, and body. The star tetrahedron. Mystics believe this is a vehicle for ascension, a geometric form that allows the soul to travel beyond space and time. And whether or not you believe that literally, one thing is undeniable. These forms show up again and again in the natural world, in the microscopic and in the cosmic. It's as if the universe has one design template and keeps using it. Sacred geometry doesn't just exist in theory. It's been built into the world for thousands of years. Ancient temples, mosques, churches, pyramids, all infused with mathematical harmony and geometric power. The Parthenon in Greece, the Great Mosque of Cordoba, the Gothic cathedrals of Europe. All these structures use sacred ratios, the golden ratio, pi and phi, not for beauty alone, but to channel spiritual energy. They were designed to resonate, to awaken, to remind those who enter, you are not separate from the universe. You are the universe in sacred form. In Egypt, sacred geometry was not just art. It was the language of the divine. In Hindu temples, every angle, every line was a prayer in stone. In modern times, this understanding has faded, but slowly it's returning. Architects are now looking at biogeometry, creating buildings that harmonize with energy flow and natural balance. Can the shape of a room influence your state of mind? Can design make you feel more peaceful, more awake? Science says yes. So ask yourself, what geometry are you living in? Now let's look in the mirror. You're not just made of blood and bone. You're a masterpiece of sacred design. Let's break it down. Your DNA helix forms a spiral based on the golden ratio. Your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth fall into patterns of facial symmetry. The proportions of your limbs, your fingers, your entire skeletal structure follow phi. Even your heartbeat, your breath cycles, your sleeping rhythms move with sacred timing. You are living geometry. But here's the twist. Your chakra system, the ancient energy map from India, aligns with geometric principles as well. Each energy center corresponds to a color, a frequency, a vibrational shape. From the root to the crown, your inner structure echoes the universe's outer architecture. It's all connected. You are a microcosm of the cosmos. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is where it gets truly profound. If sacred geometry shapes the body, and sacred geometry builds the universe, then what about the soul? Many mystics believe that the soul recognizes sacred geometry, that it responds to it like a tuning fork. That's why mandalas calm the mind, why spirals draw us inward, why symmetry feels like truth. Sacred geometry doesn't just describe matter, it describes consciousness. Meditators have reported visions of geometric forms, light spinning in perfect shapes. Near-death experiences often describe being surrounded by light patterns or entering a tunnel of spirals. This isn't just fantasy. It may be how consciousness organizes its own awakening. Some say geometry is the pathway back to source. That when we contemplate these shapes deeply, we begin to remember. We remember that we're not random, not alone, not separate. We are part of a design, a sacred pattern unfolding. So the big question is, how can you use sacred geometry in your life? Here are a few ideas. Meditate on a shape. Stare at a flower of life or a Merkaba. Let your mind absorb the symmetry. Notice what shifts inside you. Use mandalas in your environment. Surround yourself with symmetrical art or natural patterns. They help regulate the nervous system. Breathe with rhythm. Practice breath cycles that reflect sacred ratios, like 4-7-8 breathing. This aligns your inner rhythm with harmony. Walk in spirals. Labyrinths have been used for centuries to center the mind. Walking them can lead to profound insight. Speak with intention. Remember, words carry frequency, and frequency creates form. When your words are kind, when your thoughts are ordered, when your actions are balanced, you become a living embodiment of sacred geometry. Let's zoom all the way out now, from atoms to galaxies, from DNA to the divine. What do we see? Pattern, order, balance. The very fabric of the cosmos is made of geometry. Planets orbit in elliptical paths. Galaxies spiral in phi. Even the background radiation of the Big Bang shows structured frequency. This isn't randomness, it's design, but not design in the religious sense. Design as intelligence, design as awareness, design as art on the grandest scale. The ancients didn't believe in a god in the sky. They believed in a god in the pattern. And maybe that's the truth we've forgotten. That spirituality and science were never separate. That form and meaning were never divided. That the language of reality is shape. So what does this all mean for you? It means you are not small, you are not separate, you are not random. You are a pattern in motion, a sacred equation unfolding. A consciousness with structure, with shape, with rhythm. You are geometry. The thoughts you think, the choices you make, the love you give, they are all part of the sacred design. So the next time you look at a seashell, or a pine cone, or a spiral galaxy, remember this: you're not looking at beauty, you're looking at truth, and that truth is you.